Hi everybody, Mrs. Pesic here. We are looking at section 1.3, linear equations in two variables. Your objectives are to use slope to graph linear equations in two variables, find the slope of a line given 2 points on the line, write linear equations in two variables, use slope to identify parallel and perpendicular lines, use slope and linear equations in two variables to model and solve real-life problems. So just a reminder, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So if you are going to graph y equals 2/3 x minus 2, then you would start with the y-intercept at -2. We're graphing this one right here. And the slope is 2/3. So I go up 2 and to the right 3, up 2 to the right 3, or I could go down 2 and to the left 3, down 2 and to the left 3. So there's our line. Then if I'm going to graph this one, y minus 5 equals 0, I probably add 5 to both sides. So I get y equals 5. Y equals 5 is going to be a horizontal line at a height of 5, because all the y coordinates on this line are 5. There's 0, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, and so on. And then if I'm going to graph this one, if I subtract 1 from both sides, I get x equals -1. That's going to be a vertical line, because all of the x coordinates on that line are -1. All right, let's take a look at the next slide here. So just again, a summary: vertical lines are always x equals a number. Horizontal lines are always y equals a number. All right, you know slope is the rise of a line divided by the run. So we would say the slope is the change in the y over the change in the x. And we usually write that with this formula: y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So if we were going to find the slope of each pair of points here, if we're going to find the slope here, this is going to be take either one of the y's. I'll start with -6, -6 minus 1. But then since I chose -6, I got to start with the 2 for my difference in the x's. So 2 minus a -5. So it looks like -7 over 7, +7, so that's going to be a -1. For this one, if I'm going to find the slope here, difference in the y's, that's a -2 minus 3 over -7 minus a -7. That's going to give me -5 over 0, and that's undefined. And that means that these two ordered pairs are actually on a vertical line. And I think we could also safely say that the equation of that vertical line is that x has to equal -7. Let's take a look at this last example. If I'm going to find the slope here is going to be a difference in the y's over difference in the x's. So 4 minus 4 over 6 minus a -3, that's 0 over 9, which is 0. So if the slope is 0, that's going to be a horizontal line. And I think we can safely say that the equation for that horizontal line is that the y has to equal 4. All right, let's take a look at the point slope form of a line. Write the point slope form of a line that passes through -8, 3 and has a slope of 1/2. So if we're going to write the point slope form is y minus y1 equaling m times x minus x1. And so if we're going to do that here, we can do y minus 3 equaling 1/2 as our slope, and then x minus a -8. Or we can clean this up a little bit and write y minus 3 equaling 1/2 times the quantity x plus 8. All right, and now we're asked to put this into slope-intercept form, so we might just distribute the 1/2, get y minus 3 equaling 1/2 x plus 4, add 3 to both sides, and we get y equaling 1/2 x plus 7. So here it is in slope-intercept form, here it is in point slope form. All right, parallel lines have the same slope. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. So if you find the slope-intercept form of the line that passes through -4, 5, and let's say we want it to be parallel to this line. We need to find the slope of this line first. Parallel lines have the same slope, so let's subtract 2x from both sides. So we get -3y equaling 6 minus 2x. And if we divide both sides by a -3, we get y equaling, I'm going to put the 2/3 x first, and then -2. So the slope of this line is equal to 2/3, and since we want a line parallel to that, then we want our line to have a slope of 2/3. And so let's write this. Slide this down a little bit. Let's write this y equals mx plus b. We're going to fill in 2/3 for our slope, and we're going to fill in the x and the y that we were given, which is -4 for x and 5 for y. So we get 5 equals 2/3 times -4 plus b, and we still need to solve for b. So we get 5 equaling -8/3 plus b. And then if we add 8/3 to both sides of this equation, we get b is equal to, let's see, 5 plus 8/3 is going to be 15/3 plus 8/3, which is 23/3. Hopefully I'm doing this correct. And so, correctly, and so I get y equals 2/3 x plus 23/3. That would be my answer to part A. And then for part B, we want to find the equation of a line that still has to go through -4, 5, but it's got to be perpendicular to 4x plus 2y equals 10. So let's find
Hannah
here.
Bisler, Haley Wright, Corey Abel.
So we're going to take 2y equaling -4x plus
Michaela
10.
Raymond, please come to the office.
And we're going to divide by 2. Everything gets divided by 2, so I get y equals -2x plus 5. So the slope of this line is -2, but we want a line that's perpendicular to this line, so we need opposite reciprocal. So we want our slope, or this new line, to be positive 1/2. That's the opposite reciprocal of -2. And so I'm going to write y equals mx plus b. I'm going to use 1/2 as my slope. And I'm going to use that same ordered pair that we were given. That was -4 for x, 5 for y. -4 for x, 5 for y. And then I need to solve this for b. So I get 5 equaling -2 plus b. Adding 2 to both sides, I get 7 equals b. So my equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 7. Hopefully I did that right. I'm sure you'll tell me if I did not. And let's take a look at this example. A pizza shop purchases a new oven that's worth $5,000. The oven has a useful life of 7 years. The salvage value at the end of 7 years is $1,500. Write a linear equation that describes the book value of the equipment each year. So I think that we would start this by saying we've got 2 ordered pairs. Let's do year and value. All right, year comma value. So in year 0, it's worth $5,000. And in year 7, it's worth $1,500. So let's find the slope. The slope is going to be 5,000 minus 1,500 over 0 minus 7. So that's going to be 3,500 divided by -7. And I think that turns out to be -500. All right, and so that's our slope. And so our line, let's say its value equals that slope, -500 times x for the number of years, and then plus the initial amount, which was 5,000. So I think this equation right here would give us the value of the equipment each year from year 0 to year 7. All right, that finishes these notes. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.